It's insane.
Hey, I want you to change my mind on something here.
Go for it.
So whenever I've heard people talk about getting a prenup, and I'm going to read this super chat. I'll get to all the super chats in just a second, but actually, let me just do this one right now because this was too good. This sort of dovetails into what I wanted to do here. This is good. I've heard prenups not being upheld. To what extent must one go to avoid this, like claims of signing under duress, unenforceable clauses? Now, I don't know if you probably have seen this, but I'm sure you've seen Divorce Incorporated, the documentary Divorce Incorporated. There's a whole section in there where it says that prenups are basically they don't work as well as people would like you to believe that they do, and because child support not going to ever be covered by prenups. And then, so can you explain how assets are allocated versus with no prenup and with a prenup?
Yes. So it's a great question. And it's actually the first half of the consultation I do when I do a consult for a prenup. So somebody calls, they say, hey, I'm getting married. I want to have a prenup. And the first thing I say is, okay, we're going to have a consultation where I'm going to explain to you your rights in the absence of a prenup. So here's what your rights and your obligations are in the absence of a prenup. And that way you can understand what you can change with a prenup, because there are things you can change and things you can't. I saw Divorce Inc. A lot of the criticisms of it, the criticisms in it, very fair, very fair. Yeah. But where it's messed up is, look, prenups are enforceable. There's a lot. Yes, there are prenups that can get set aside. They get set aside when you go on one of those websites where it's like, oh, I could do my own prenup for $100. I don't want to spend $2,000 on a prenup. People want to save money in the dumbest places. Like, this is the only thing more expensive than a good divorce lawyer is a bad one. So the only more expensive than a good prenup is a bad one. A bad one costs you a lot of money. A good one, the most expensive prenup I ever did probably cost $2,000, $3,000. That's ridiculous. When I do a divorce, I take a $25,000 retainer, and I work against that retainer. So it's so little money for such a big return. But the way they get set aside is duress, meaning if a person doesn't have counsel. So that's an easy fix, because you just get someone to review it for this other person. So both of you have a lawyer. You've eliminated undue influence. You've eliminated duress as a defense. You can't claim duress against someone who's represented by counsel. So you hire someone as a review attorney to review this prenup for the person who you're marrying. The only other way that prenup successfully gets set aside, really, there's two other ways. One is lack of asset disclosure, meaning that the person had no idea how much money you had or how many liabilities you had. And that's an easy fix too, because any good lawyer attaches as an addendum to the agreement a general outline of assets and liabilities. And we usually attach it at the last minute, right when people are signing. So it's attached, but no one can ruminate on it for too long. Mm-hmm. And then the last reason is language. Language issues all the time come up where a lot of people marry people from other countries. And this is how Donald Trump's, one of his prenups got set aside when Ivanka said, I didn't understand English well enough when I signed that prenup. Meanwhile, she'd been educated in English. She spoke fluent English. Every interview she ever had was in English. But she said, legal writing is different than right. So what do we do? It's an easy fix. Good divorce lawyers. We have a section of the prenup that says, Thai is my, Tagalog is my native language. I have had the offer to have this entire agreement translated by a certified neutral translator. I freely, knowingly, voluntarily declined to do so. And then we attach as Schedule A translation of that paragraph into the person's native language. So they can't say, I didn't understand the paragraph that said I understood a paragraph, because it's in their native language attached as a schedule. With that, prenups are binding. They can't cover child support. You're absolutely right. You can't dispose of the custody of children with a prenup, and you can't dispose of child support with a prenup. And you're right, child support is where people can get creamed in family court. But guess what? You don't have to be married to pay child support. You have a kid with someone, whether you're married or not, child support comes into play. So whenever anybody says this NFL player, he got married, she's got him now. No. Not necessarily. If he has a prenup, which a lot of those guys do, we do a lot of athlete prenups. We do a lot of, if you have a prenup, no, she doesn't have anything on you. She can walk out as penniless as she was when she came into the thing. But you get a kid, that's golden ticket. You get pregnant, all bets are off. She owns you for 21 years. Kanye didn't even have a right when he said 18 years. You got one of your kids got you for 18 years. It's 21 years. 21 years in most states is the age of emancipation. So that's where you got to watch out. But yes, prenups can't solve that problem. Okay, guys, you know what? One contract only solves like 99 of the problems that are caused by marriage. It can't solve one of the problems financially that's caused by marriage. So I guess we should just throw prenups out the window. That's the dumbest logic ever. It doesn't make any sense at all. It solves the overwhelming majority of financial issues that come from divorce, and it can't solve the one problem that can't really be solved by an attorney in advance, and that's child support.